So, how can you really be confident that you have something other people want to hear? Before you stand up to speak, raise your hand, offer to give a presentation, a talk, whether it's a TED talk, a TEDx talk, or just sharing something at lunch. How do you know you really have something interesting to say? Because you can have good eye contact, good hand gestures, a good voice, look comfortable, have nice clothes on, and still everybody finds you boring. You might think, well, that's just me. I'm insecure. Well, no, a lot of people are boring. Here's the number one way to have genuine confidence that when you speak, you're saying something worth listening to, that you actually have something interesting. And the solution is you've got to go deep into a subject matter. The problem most speakers have is they're consuming all the same stuff everybody else does, whether it's everyone in your office, everyone in your industry, everyone in your business. We're all sort of bouncing around the surface levels. We're all seeing the front pages of certain news websites that we like. We're all seeing kind of the same social media videos. We're all reading the same stories about pop culture stars and movie stars and TV stars, trivia, sports news. We all know who won the big game last night. Guess what? It's very difficult for you to say anything interesting to people that they haven't heard before. Time out for my editor. I'm just going to switch the camera for our TikTok friends so they can see that. And okay, we're going to come back in to this long form piece. It's very difficult to say anything that someone says, I hadn't thought of that before. I hadn't heard that before. Because if you are consuming all the same content, all the same ideas, everyone else you're speaking to is consuming, you're going to seem boring because you aren't going to say anything new. People are looking for something new, something interesting. You can't do it just by surfing the headlines, just by looking at the headlines coming to you on social media from your friends and colleagues. They've already seen that. The number one thing that makes anyone confident is knowing they've gone deeper on a subject than anyone else. One of the reasons I'm confident when I stand up to speak about communication skills or public speaking or speaking to the media is that I know I've gone deeper than anyone else. Now, I've been in this a long time, but when I really started and decided to be serious about this, I went to the library and read every single book on public speaking and communication skills. That's something you can do now, or just do a Google search. If you want to know about something new, cutting edge, right now I'm fascinated with artificial intelligence cloning technology. I'm trying to become an expert, trying to know more than other people. So, yes, I'm reading books on it, but there are not that many books on it. One of the things I do is I create a Google News alert, and it has very specific things in it like cloning artificial intelligence, AI cloning, video cloning. So I read a lot of stories about that every single day. Now, does that make me such an expert Google wants to hire me? No, I don't have the technical chops for that, but it allows me to speak on that subject here, social media, with friends, other people in professional situations, because I know more than they do, because I've read more. Now, you might not like to read. That's okay. Listen to the specialized podcast in niches you care about. Watch the TED Talks. Watch every single YouTube video on a particular subject until you simply know more than anyone else in your immediate surroundings, the people you speak to. Because so much of what makes someone a compelling speaker, it's not what they look like, it's not their sound, it's not whether they have 0 ums per speech. It's that they have interesting ideas and they're saying something that we don't already know. At some level, every person you ever speak to, whether it's one-on-one, face-to-face, a small group, or a large group, when they're listening to you, they're thinking, okay, tell me something I don't already know. If you can't do that, they're going to tune out. They may literally pick up their phone and start checking texts and emails if they're in a larger room. Mentally, they might be doing that if you're one-on-one. So if you want to be a compelling communicator, a successful communicator, part of it is in the research, essentially. Whether you read more on the subject, whether it's books, whether it's blog posts, whether it's PDFs, whether you consume more podcasts, whether you watch more videos, whether you take more online courses, become an expert on something. You look at the people who get the most attention in the world, it's because they really dive in deep and they soak up everything they can on that subject. Only then do most people want to hear from them. Gary Vaynerchuk was just a guy working in his dad's liquor store. But when he started his TV wine library in the early days of online social media, he went deep. It wasn't just that he spent 15 minutes a day making a live show. It's that he spent hours and hours and hours in online forums learning what people wanted to know about wine. And then he branched out from that and he spent hours and hours and hours a day immersed in social media until he got to the point where he was a genuine expert on social media. And conventions and conferences paid him a lot of money to come speak because they knew he knew a lot more about how to use social media to promote, to market, to brand than virtually anyone else. What is it you want to become known for? That's what you got to ask yourself if you want to be a truly compelling communicator. And the easiest way to do it is to find something you're genuinely, passionately interested in. Because if you find a subject you're interested in, you'll naturally find yourself reading that at night rather than watching another sitcom on Netflix. If you're immersed in a subject that you care passionately about, you're going to find that's more interesting to you than just a sports game that everyone else follows and you're in a habit of following that sports team, so you got to watch that sports team. Well, no, you do not have to spend hundreds or thousands of hours a year watching athletics if that's not your thing. You could, in fact, dive deep into a subject matter, enjoy it, become an expert of sorts. This is what's going to equip you to have the confidence to speak, because what holds so many people back is, well, why would anyone want to hear me speak? If you don't have interesting insights, it's a perfectly legitimate question. It may be that no one really does want to hear you speak. So confidence is a thing where people say, oh, fake it till you make it and project with a smile. And sure, I give people some tips like that. But the ultimate way of being confident when you speak is to know you have genuine insights that are going to be useful to people, interesting to people that they have never heard before. Okay, note to editor, that concludes that. Hi, I'm TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me. That's just sort of a little warm up here. Go back to camera 3. Hello to my friends on TikTok. Hello to my friends on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn, all the other social media sites that we have today. We got a fun show for you today. It's Friday. This will be our last live session till Monday. A little bit sad about that, but looking forward to a great weekend. I hope you are as well. We have a special guest coming up in the second half hour of our program today, Joel Silverstein. He's the founder of TFR, This Feels Right. It's an organization that empowers leaders and teams on how to communicate more effectively. Now, you may be thinking, well, TJ, isn't that what you do? No one has a monopoly on all the right answers, on all the right techniques. So one of the guiding principles here is I don't know everything about communication. I have been in the field for 40 years. I have read a gazillion books and made 200 courses on the subject, but there are different approaches that I sometimes use. Some people might not like. There are other approaches that I've never even thought of that can be really effective. So that's why I'm continuing to reach out to more and more people, more experts around the globe to share their insights on how to communicate more effectively. That's what we're all about here. If you have any questions or comments, Anything you want me to address now before we go to our guest, let me know. I'm just a moment. I'm going to do a short form on the topic we just addressed. I want to say hello to some of our friends on TikTok who've hopped in because we already have what appear to be hundreds of friends joining us on TikTok. And we appreciate everyone joining us from all the other places, all the other social media platforms. Hello to Play Gibson, user. Todd has joined us, the G Man, Cliff, Lester, Robert, Earl has joined us, Sheldon has joined us, Dave, George, Millicent, Sherry, my truck has joined us. Looks like Shelly, so many others. It's hard to keep track of. And miraculously, no one has said I look like Joe Biden yet today. So we're off to a good start here on this Friday. Appreciate you joining me. I am TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. We're all about helping you become more successful in life, your personal life and your professional life, by boosting your communication skills and by boosting your confidence in your communication skills. And my good friend John Steen is here. John, good to see you as always. John, I know that you and I go back 30 some years, and you have a lifelong fascination, as I do, with gurus of sorts, motivational speakers, whether it is Gary Null of sort of the alternative healthcare fame to Tony Robbins. I'd be interested in knowing who you're following these days in that whole motivational personal development realm. Are there any new people coming up? I think I've mentioned to you before, you actually remind me of a very well-known motivational speaker, Brendan Burchard. You actually look a little bit like him. So John, if you want to join us on camera, please do so. All you have to do is push the link for StreamYard and then allow your access to your microphone and your camera, and you can be right here on screen with me. And apologies to our friends on TikTok. I can't do that with you. We have you on a different platform. But if you want to speak on camera, ask a question, disagree with me, call me out on something, you can do so, but you need to come over to the YouTube channel first. Okay, I want to do a simple short form video on the very same topic I did for the opening of this. Oh, I'm going to hit stop for a minute. I am recording some of these items in 4K so that my video production team can edit it down in the highest format possible and then turn it into short form and long form content for social media. So if you're new here, let me tell you a little bit what we're about. This is a community to help you be more successful by improving your communication skills and your confidence in your communication skills. So we're doing several things at once here. One, we're a live show just for you, a community, and you always take precedence. So if you have a question or you want to come on, I go to you first. What I also do is take you behind the scenes, take you behind the curtain of my studio, and show you exactly what a content creator does, or at least what one content creator does. So I actually make the rough draft footage for all of my long form videos and short form videos. And those of you on TikTok, you see 3 videos, or you can see, they're posted on my channel, 3 videos a day, 7 days a week, pretty much the same on all social media platforms. Unlike most content creators, I actually show you how I'm doing it in real time. You're seeing my workflow. You see the mistakes. You see my thought process. Oh, that didn't quite work. Let me do it another way. You'll see me make a stumble, stop, say, note to editor, cut that part out, and pick right up again. And I do this in part because I want you to see, you don't have to be perfect to do this. I make mistakes all the time. I'm hoping to motivate you to seek out more opportunities to speak yourself. Now, you don't have to speak 3 hours a day and post 100 videos a month the way I do. But if currently you're posting nothing and you start posting one 60-second video a month, That's a huge jump. That's a huge boost and a huge increase in the number of people who can hear you, learn from you, and for you to learn from them and get feedback. So that really is what we're all about here. I'm going to switch to camera 2 to do this short form. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, TikTok, it doesn't make any sense to you because you're only getting me through the lens of my cell phone. But if you want to see that, then come on over to the YouTube channel. Chad says, hello, sir. Well, thank you for saying hello. We can be a little more informal. You can just call me TJ, but it's certainly nice. I know you mean no disrespect by saying sir. So I appreciate that. But we're all equals here in the sense that we're all trying to learn. We're all trying to get more comfortable speaking. Everyone has something to learn. I mean, I'm trying to learn, for example, how I can get better at doing long form content in the roughly 8-minute region. Now, I'm pretty comfortable talking for 3 hours, in part because I used to be a talk radio host and actually did 4-hour live stints without guests frequently. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable talking in less than 60 seconds. It doesn't mean every one of my short form videos goes viral, but I do get a lot more views from the shorts than the long. So I'm still trying to get better at really giving great value in a roughly 8-minute time period, because that's what tends to work best for a lot of social media platforms. They like the retention of the audience. They like the fact that they can insert more ads. There's a lot of different benefits. So I'm still learning that. We're all experimenting. One of the things I've been experimenting with is how to do all the things I need to do to set this show up for you live every day, make it look relatively seamless, and not run myself ragged, because we have no other staff members here. My colleague Ben is in another location and he's helping set up some technical issues. But what you see, the set design today is me. I actually go in and put every one of these lights on every day and turn it on. I put in every one of these little accent lights, attach them by magnets, and turn them on. So there's that. I do my own makeup. I'm in charge of wardrobe. I've got to turn on every camera, every light, do sound checks, make sure the mixer's on, put in the drives in the appropriate place. And folks, I'm not naturally gifted at technology matters. So there's a lot of little technical details. So I'm always looking at ways of being more efficient. And sometimes just shaving off a few seconds, because I get here in the morning, typically 8 a.m., but there's a lot of running around. I've got to prepare for our guest who's coming up, Joel Silverstone, and get briefed on that. I'm always looking for ways of saving time. I did mention to some of you, I decided I'm not going to mess with my pocket square anymore, because really, who cares? And I found myself sort of futzing over it and it was coming out, so I got rid of that. Now, I'm going to share something with you. I'm just going to reveal. Please don't tell anyone. This is something I'd never do in real life if I were at a business meeting or a training, but I'm not wearing a real tie right now. This is a clip-on tie. I mentioned to you 2 days ago that I said, let me experiment with a clip-on, because it takes a couple of minutes to tie a tie nicely, to try to get a nice dimple. Then sometimes there's the issue of it's too short or it's too long. And for video where you're not there, even with 4K quality, and we're in high def right now, it can be hard to discern whether a tie is real or not. I'm hoping that you think this looks okay and looks real and isn't distracting. It does have a pretty nice dimple in it. But the beauty of it is I saved myself 2 minutes, number one. Number two, I am sparing another 12 thicknesses of cloth around my neck. By the time you look at all the different layers in a tie wrapped around your neck, the knots, it's putting a lot of extra cloth around your neck, which makes things hotter. If I get hotter, like anyone else, I can perspire, get shiny. And I'm trying to talk to you about how to look and sound confident. The last thing I want to do is seem like I'm a nervous, sweaty person. So I think that this looks okay to me. If you want to weigh in on my tie, I'm happy to hear your opinion. You may look at it and say, wow, the dimple's too perfect. I can tell that is a clip on. I respect you if that's what you say. My guess is it's going to pass the smell test. Therefore, I may get, 4 or 5 of these, get them in different colors. And bang, I've just saved, in a 6-month period, I've saved several hours of my time. If you do the math from 3 minutes, a couple of minutes a day, futzing with a tie. Plus, it's also easier to take it off. I'll just pull it off. I would take it off right now, but you've all seen a clip-on tie, and I don't want to have to spend time futzing around it with it. I appreciate those of you on TikTok sending the hearts. I do appreciate that. Some of you occasionally send the gifts, the tokens. Is a slightly different name on every platform, but always appreciate that. What's most appreciated, frankly, are questions, comments, and ultimately sharing the stage with me, sharing your expertise, whether it's in the form of a question or something you want to promote. And for some reason, the camera angle number 3 just went a bit blurry and fuzzy. So apologies to my friends on TikTok who don't see this. I've now stepped off to camera 1. I'm going to go to camera 3 again because typically that does solve the autofocus program. We're still the problem. We're still trying to get everything just right with the autofocus. I'm very excited about this guest we're going to have coming up today, Joel Silverstone, because he has an approach that's very different from mine. He comes from the acting background, and we're going to learn a different perspective on communication. That's always exciting. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be taking your question. We're here till noon Eastern time today, so we have more than 2.5 hours. There are a lot of places online where you can go and get a quick 10-second tip on speaking, maybe an 8-second or 8-minute tutorial, and that's good. That's valuable. There are places where you can go to an online course that's 20 or 30 hours long. That's fine. But there are very few places where you can actually go and ask questions live for 3 hours a day. Now, I did something I don't typically do because it's unfair to my audience on YouTube, but I just accepted someone who wanted to go live on TikTok. The reason I do that is not that I have anything against our friends on TikTok. It's just that I can't share that feed with the other 8 platforms we're on. So that's why I have done that. And the person who, Dara, who wanted to join us on TikTok now, I hit accept, and for some reason, it doesn't seem connected. There's no sound and there's no image. So apologies for that. And now, unfortunately, I don't know how to, there we go. So apologies to Dara if I did something wrong. If you want to chat, the easiest thing to do is come on over to our YouTube channel, and we post a link in the comments where with one click you can come into StreamYard and you can come right up on screen. You can ask questions. You can give a pitch. You can get a critique from me. You can get a critique from the community, and plenty, really anything you want to do. We're all about you finding more opportunities to speak, more opportunities to present, building your expertise, and building your confidence. I want to bring my colleague Ben in, who does help me with so many technical issues. Ben, do we have any other theory on what we need to do with camera 3? Because we have pretty consistently been going out of focus. So I'm wondering if you could talk to Mohammed about it, our other technical advisor. Maybe we should just take it off of autofocus and figure out here's the best way for it to focus on 2.5, 3 feet away from the camera. Because I think it may be if I move or if I'm putting my hand close, it's messing it up. Because We are not getting that problem on camera 2. I never see this one get blurry. And I'm not seeing a problem with camera 1 because I'm about 5 feet away from the camera here. So we're not seeing, it's only a problem in the one place. So do you have any thoughts on that, Ben?
Yes, I think is an issue we need to probably look into maybe after the show. So
Okay.
I'll talk to Mohammed and see what we can do to fix that.
Okay. Sidit has joined us in the green room. So Sidit Patel has stopped by. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching and listening today. If you want to come on and talk to me and Ben, or ask a question, or just tell us where you are in your own journey of becoming a better communicator, all you have to do is give access to your microphone and your camera. If you don't want to appear on camera, you could just give access to your microphone and talk to us. It's completely up to you. And then, of course, some people just like to come into the green room, or they want to click the button and see what's going on back here. So just so you know, we use a platform called StreamYard, which many of the most successful YouTubers do. It's a platform that allows you to conduct interviews, talk to people, bring people on screen, as I'm doing now, in a seamless way, and simulcast to different platforms at the same time. The audio quality, the video quality is generally better than if you just go live on Facebook or just go live on YouTube. So that's typically how it works. And our good friend Janice has stopped by, says, "Hi, TJ. I'm learning from your 8 minutes and short videos." Well, thanks so much. And I really appreciate Janice and her team at Unconventional Advice That Works. I appreciate their comments and participation on the channel. Very much appreciated. And if you want to come on, I'd love to talk to you about your practice, because I know you're also a respected communications consultant. And let us know if you have any upcoming programs, workshops, seminars. We had on a fascinating guest earlier this week, and her entire course, her entire area of expertise is live selling. She was a very successful online, or not online, on air spokesperson for products on Canada's largest home shopping network, TSC. And earlier this week, she shared with us her wisdom on the art form of selling to people in live video. And I got to tell you, she blew me away. She was so good. She had a can opener, and I thought I was about to buy 10 of them. She was so good. And I don't even have any cans at home, as far as I know. But it was a can opener and jar opener. So if you want to check out that episode, Ben, go ahead and post a link, if you don't mind, to I believe that was Tuesday's episode with Dawn, who did such a fantastic job. And I think that would be of interest. But Janice, if you want to come on and share any new programs you're with, we would love to hear from you. In a few moments, we're going to be talking to Joel Silverstone, who's a communications expert and trains people throughout the world at major financial institutions and technology companies. It's always good to get new perspectives. Later on today, I am going to be continuing my series with the Amazon Influencer Program, where I not only talk to you about how to be an influencer and talk about best practices, but I actually make the ads right in front of you. I do an Amazon Live right here, so you can see at least one perspective on how to do that sort of thing. That is what we're all about here, is demonstrating. They're not perfect. You're going to see the flaws, you'll see the flubs. But what I hope is it inspires you to try to speak out yourself. Our guest and friend of the show, Roger Matthews, summed it up nicely yesterday, which is, hey, the thing about Amazon Influencer is, if nothing else, you get more opportunities to speak, more opportunities to present in front of a camera, and you build confidence in your speaking. So even if you don't make a lot of money, you've already had a lot of wins. Our guest, Joel Silverstone, has just shown up in the green room. I'm going to say hello to him. We're going to do sort of our pre-interview right now. Let me bring him on and get him on board. Ben, I'm going to take you off. Joel, it's so good to see you. How are you today?
You too, TJ. Really nice to meet you. I've been watching some of your show and great insights. Really great insights. Yeah.
Thanks so much. We're going to start in a minute. We're going to try to do something a little bit different today. And
sure.
Apologize for not letting you know. I am recording this at a couple of different levels because we try to pull shorts out and get different benefits and more plugs for our guest. But what we want to do is we're going to stop this. We're going to rejoin again in 2 minutes. And that way we'll have a nice image of you for the cover so when we're done, the video will instantly be available on YouTube and other social media platforms. So we'll have a nice image of you and a cover.
Okay.
And my colleague Ben is going to make sure we have all that. Ben, have we lined up an image and as a screen for the new version of this? Because we want to attract as much attention to Joel and his expertise as possible.
Yeah, I'm still working on the image at the moment, but it will be ready soon.
Okay, and certainly by the time it posts live on demand, we'll have that. Joe, I always like to do sort of a bit of a pre-interview and ask my guest really 2 questions. What do we need to do in this interview to be different from other interviews you've done and better? And then what do we need to do to make this so valuable to you that you'll actually want this on your bio page? You'll want this at the top of your own media page because you feel it puts you in a better spotlight than other media interviews you've done.
Yeah. Oh boy, good question. I think number one is, as far as what's going to make this different, is where can you, just like you just did now, where can you ask questions that make me go, huh, yeah, I never thought of that. And then because I think, so many of the questions are sort of rote. And I think you demonstrated in your previous podcast, you're a really good listener. You're really good picking up and going with the sort of deeper questions. And then, where I'm going to show this is, I mean, if we're on the same page, then absolutely, be happy to put this on the top of my website.
Great. Well, I'm going to do my best to try to make this valuable to our audience, our community, valuable to you. Because if I can make both those groups get value out of this, then it works for me too. And everyone really wins. So what we're going to do to make it cleaner for when people are searching the internet and seeing things on demand is we're going to sign off. We're going to sign back on. So those of you on the YouTube channel or any of the social media channels, we're just going to disconnect for about 120 seconds. We will reconnect. If you want to join us on StreamYard and ask Joel a question directly, we will be taking questions. All you have to do is push the StreamYard link, but it's going to be a different one. It's not the one you see right now. Our friends on TikTok, you can just stay put. If you want to see Joel, come on over to my YouTube channel in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to sign off now. And Ben, are you sending Joel the link so he knows exactly where to sign in?
All right, great.
And for that matter, if it gets lost, just go to my YouTube page. You'll see it. We'll go live, and you'll see it posted right there, right as I go live. But we want you on. We want you on when I do that. So let's think. Ben, let's add Ben. Ben, have you sent Joel the link?
Yeah, Joe can check the private chat now.
It's in the private chat. Can you see that, Joel?
Yeah, and I opened it in a separate tab.
Okay, great. So if you just join us there in about 30 seconds, we'll see you there. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us this first half hour of the program. We got a lot of fun in store. We'll be back right here in all these same platforms in 2 minutes.
Perfect.